Hi, it's Kevin Lobates here, and this evening I thought I would answer a question that was posed to me by Salar Sadeghi. And his question was, what's the difference between validation and verification when it comes to blockchain? So the words validation and verification are almost synonymous. They can be used almost interchangeably in everyday ordinary speech. In testing, they actually have very, very specific different meanings, in that validation is checking that your code matches the client's requirement. So the client has some needs and your code is supposed to satisfy those. And verification is checking that what the developers have actually coded up matches the specification that you produced from the client requirements. And that kind of carries over into blockchain as well, in terms of the meaning of validation and verification, because you validate transactions before they get added to a block. You check that they are valid, you check that they match the protocols and requirements of the blockchain system, and then when a transaction has been validated, it can be added to a block. And then later on, the process of verification occurs, where you check that the transaction has actually made it into a block and more blocks have been added on top, so that the transaction can no longer be reversed, or the probability of it being reversed is very, very low. So you start off with validation and then you end with verification, just to check that the whole process has completed and the transaction can effectively be considered complete. So, Salar, I hope that answers your question. There are, of course, a load of extra complexities, and we're talking about semantics here rather than syntax. We're talking about meaning. So there are other interpretations, and I'm sure that some people will chime in and say, well, what about this case or that case? But I think that's the best brief overall summary that I can come up with. Hope that was illuminating, and see you in the next video soon. Bye for now.